All right. We are live. We got our buddy Ron Stewart on here. He's got to backseat the draft for us because, as always, we are in stupid Ontario where we can't play Underdog Fantasy. Quick announcement just on that front. Me and Danny will be in Niagara Falls, Buffalo, whatever, about a week and a half from now on the weekend to be able to crank out our last exposures for Best Ball Mania 3. I doubt the puppy will still be open by then, but maybe they have the puppy 4 live or something like that. So we'll definitely have that stuff going. But we're going to be doing a puppy 3 draft in today's video, breaking down some of the exposures along the way. Ron's got a cool extension that shows the type of dudes he's been invested in, and we'll try and 3-pair this puppy, and maybe this will be the winner. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully so. I appreciate you guys having me on. Were you guys going to do any streams when you guys were in Buffalo? That'd be interesting to see you guys just like 5 at a time, just like. Oh. Dude. Grinding streams, dude.
Best believe, like, again, we're gonna be streaming, but like we're each gonna have our own laptops. We're gonna have a phone, so if we really want to, we could get 3 to 5 drafts going at once. Like even when we were in Brooklyn, dude, I want to say that in each draft I was in, I was spamming on my phone at times 3-4 at once. So
I feel like people got upset with me because like while we were supposed to be doing other things, I was doing drafts. Like when we were doing the photo shoots and shit, I was like, I gotta make picks quick. Like,
yeah, I was the same.
Yeah. Anyways, so Ron will get you to share your thing here, and we'll enter a draft. If you want to hop into a puppy 3, we'll get this going.
Let the chat
as always, if you guys want to hop in here, it'll probably fill fast as shit because that's how Underdog works. But just hit the enter button in like 3 seconds, and
3, 2, 1, boom, boom.
All right, get him, lads.
Oh, we got 6 spots in here.
Let's go.
Yeah, there's some spots in here. If anybody is not on Underdog, as always, you guys know the drill. Promo code FSE at sign up and first deposit for 100% back. If you want to just join this draft, you can put in like as little as $10, get $20 on the site to play with. You'll get both our dynasty and our redraft rankings as a free gift for using our promo code. And if you don't use our promo code, use promo code Ron as well. I'll give you a little plug there as well.
Appreciate it.
First comment of the stream, we got the boy Sebastian. What up, everyone? What's up, Sebastian? First comment.
3 spot. That's beautiful.
Hey, yo, another top 5 FSC stream?
Question mark for me.
Hopefully, that'd be awesome. Yo, what's up, Devonte? Like seeing you in the chat. The OG Nate himself. How you doing, brother? I just got to say that Packers cheese head is kind of a little fugu. No, I'm kidding. Fuck the Packers. Can I join you on mock? Hopefully you got in, brother. Hopefully you got in. For those of you that don't know, Killer Gorilla did get in the chat. But for those of you that don't know, we're going to be doing a stream over here and then hopping over to Ron. So that should be a lot of fun. What's up? The basement is here. Yeah, you got a Ron Stewart supporter in the chat.
Imagine not being in a basement, Ron?
Danny's not in. I couldn't imagine.
Wow.
Can't imagine.
Imagine not wearing your own merch, Bush.
Yeah, I think my girlfriend stole half of it. So.
Oh yeah. Now he's flexing the girlfriend.
Okay. Killer Gorilla say 1, 2, 3, go when you press draft. But yeah, that's exactly how it works. Me and Danny do that shit all the time. Paco, what's up? Oh boy, all my favorite degenerates together. Have a good show, boys. All right,
what do we think about getting the Cooper Cup exposure? Maybe back to above 8%.
100%. Yes.
Yeah, we can go for Cooper
I
Cup.
need it.
I'm a big Justin Jefferson over Cooper Cup guy this year.
I agree. Just for exposure's sake, we'll get
guys.
Cup. But I have Jefferson as my 103 right now. But just because I think it's a safer projection. There's also just the case where like he just lights the world on fire as like an amazing wide receiver.
I love Justin Jefferson, but I mean, there's a lot of ground to still make up there for comparatively to what Cooper Cup did last year. I mean, Justin Jefferson can absolutely do it, but Cup's a guy. Come on, let's go. 103.
It depends on it really depends on how much you think he makes up for what he did last year, or like how much you think he covers it. What was he at like
in terms of Cup?
What was he at, like 26 points per game last year?
26 PPR points per game.
It was the stupidest like.
The difference,
and it was Cooper, dude.
It was still stupid.
people still aren't like letting that register. It was Cooper Kupp. It was the white slot wide receiver that none of us no one saw it coming. Like no one was like, oh, this is a high upside wide receiver we're taking swings on. Like it was Cooper Kupp.
Dude, it was like we were drafting him because, he's got offensive insulation and high floor. Nah, he just goes out there and explodes. Like,
and it's just Jerry Rice.
Yeah, if someone said
the decision we were talking about was, do we draft Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods? Not like is Cooper Kupp going to be elite this year? But we pointed to, I know we brought up the fact that like the season he tore his ACL, he was like one of the best receivers in fantasy, like the first 8 games of the season. And that happened to coincide with Jared Goff's best season as well. So we're like, hey, if Stafford's going to be this great, then there's a chance that Kupp can be awesome too. But Stafford, I mean, like there's still a lot of meat left on the bone for him. Like he could be a lot better than he was last year. He had like 15 interceptions or something like that. Like he wasn't totally, a difference-making quarterback. Second year in McVay's system, hopefully he's a little bit better. But I think Robinson's probably going to eat into Kupp a little bit more than the guys that they had last year.
The one caveat I might say, like if you wanted to rank Jefferson 1-2, is the extreme usage that we saw in terms of that passing offense in red zone situations. Now, again, we kind of talked about it over at FSC. Is this the chicken or the egg? Is it that with Stafford, this is what the team wants to do in the red zone? Or was it more so a byproduct of the fact that Cam Akers, their main running back in those situations, was not healthy last year? So if Akers is healthy, maybe we see that, go slightly back to what we saw in 2020. But I mean, they're still a high passing volume team. They're still going to get their high opportunity, high value targets in those in those areas. And I mean, Cooper Kupp is the best used in terms of schematic fit for what he does with that Rams offense.
They're also going to be in the red zone so much that it probably won't fucking matter anymore.
Exactly. I mean, they're pretty much a lock for like a top 5 to 6 offense at worst.
I was actually going to comment yesterday in your video, Bush, but I hit send and it seemed like it didn't hit send, and I like checked back and I was like, whatever, I'll just like ask him about it some other time. But I know you've been high on Akers and you had him high on the video yesterday, but I know what do you think about the reports coming out or whatever, how it's like kind of a duo? They're saying Henderson and Akers hand in hand.
I don't know. That to
I'm
me,
just
that
curious
seems
how
like,
you kind of
like so you don't want to hear that, like
no,
if you're an Akers truther, but I'm gonna probably trust the way that McVay has deployed his running backs. And in that video, I broke down that like when Michelle was the starter, he like had 7 straight games of like 20 plus opportunities per game. Henderson was like 17 plus opportunities per game in the games that he was the starter. So I'll trust like the usage that I've seen over, fluffy, McVay narrative stuff. And I saw Bean Counter actually tweeted out a bunch of like previous reports of McVay saying things like, we want to run a committee. It's a 3-back system or whatever. And the usage constantly counteracts basically all that stuff. When he has a guy, he uses them.
And I kind of just want to add to that too. I don't really view this as, damning on Akers. Kind of Corey made the case for why Akers should still be, an upside 4th round, right in that ETN type of area, type of valuation. But I've always thought that this backfield as a whole was underpriced because we were valuing Akers as if, he's going to have a slow start. Henderson's going to chip away, yada, yada, yada at the beginning of the season. Well, if that was the case, why was Henderson going round 12? And on the flip side, if Henderson's a 12th round valuations, you're getting a premium. Like I would even say the Ram situation is a better situation than what we've seen with maybe Alex Madison of Minnesota. So that's about your comparative value for a strict handcuff of a Daryl Henderson. Only if that was the case, he was a strict handcuff, Akers should be a 2nd round pick. So which way are we going? We're kind of taking the pessimistic view on both of their valuations in terms of their ADP costs right now.
Yeah.
Ron,
I've posed this question to Danny before. I'm curious what your thoughts on. Do you think Akers would be going higher or lower if he never came back in the playoffs?
I think he'd go higher. People really love to use his efficiency, yards per carry, all that against him from that playoff run.
I agree.
But we have a pick right here.
Oh, you know where I'm
saying?
going. My Javonte Williams would be my pick. I'll let you guys.
What do you guys think? Agree. I'm down. I want this to be an FSC branded draft. Let's go Javonte.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I mean, I love both of those top running backs. Obviously, with Javonte, you're getting the 2nd-year breakout. We kind of talked about it on a recent video, must draft players by evaluation. But basically, we usually see from year 1 to year 2, an 8+% opportunity share increase for 2nd-year running backs, especially ones taken as high as Javonte Williams was. We saw down the stretch last year, post-rookie buy bump coined by Hayden Wings, that Javonte Williams was over 15 PPR points per game, RB 15 pace. Now, we're taking him as if he is at that floor of what he did in the second half last year, but now you're getting Russell Wilson added. Now you're getting more scoring opportunities. And for a player that commanded even the target share that he did as a rookie running back last year in that timeshare, you're paying for his floor when, as we know, if this offense booms and Javonte Williams does get that opportunity share bump, he's got league-winning type of upside.
Damn. I would have loved to go Fournette there for you guys.
That would have been nice. AJ Brown there as well.
I got nothing here. I mean,
I say Keenan for that week 17 correlation.
Keenan's just my dude, so I would just say Keenan for Keenan.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Which a little
all
sneak
three
peek.
high scoring offenses. That's fun.
A little sneak peek, but you guys see Mike Williams and Keenan Allen both going within 3 picks of each other. But I kind of tweeted it out, but I really don't think they should be.
To be fair, that is completely one of the underdog biases in ADP, in my opinion, because Mike Williams is the big play guy that he's going to get that bump. Same goes for why Gabriel Davis is like pick wide receiver 20
it's
or
crazy.
Whatever.
I would push back on that ever so slightly. At least I do think like in your home league, possibly not, dude. But
that's fair.
Boomers love both of these guys. I was in a NFC draft last night that I was streaming. Gabe Davis went at the 402 ahead of Deontay Johnson, McLaurin, Metcalf, Marquise Brown, and then you're also looking at let me see the who else were we talking about? Mike Williams. Mike Williams went 311 ahead of also Deontay Johnson and all these guys. It was the same guy though. Williams it was the same guy.
Around 311. Like I'm cool with him going there, but
I agree. I agree.
think most home league draft he's going to be like a 4th, 5th round pick, which is a lot more appropriate. I would say,
fine.
Yeah.
Just given the risk of like his entire portfolio of his career and not just like the beginning of last season. But to me, I just think Keenan Allen and him are not remotely in the same.
It's not. Area. And for Mike Williams, if he was more so around, the wide receiver 18 to 22, like if he was going where Cortland Sutton currently is going, I'd be way more in on that because, I mean, at least we saw the exposure. At least we saw this offense again, 29 PPR or 29 points per game for this offense after their bye week. Like they were humming and hoeing. Herbert looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You want exposure to that type of offense. However, if you're paying top 14 type of pricing, like you're basically paying that he turns back into that player we saw in the first 5 weeks, when that 5-game sample size is way less indicative of what he's done throughout his career than the week 7 on that he showed. Like he was a 17.5 target share player post bye week, and that's about where he's been at throughout his career. So expecting him to magically, jump back to what he showed, that mirage in those first few games, I just feel like it's way too much optimism for the sample size that we have available to us.
I agree. I'm lower on him as well. He's hard to gauge as well because like I understand the upside. Like the first 5 weeks, like he was crazy. He was like a top 3 wide receiver. Like he was getting used in like a low 8-out role, like in a spot that we've never seen him use before. And I didn't think that he was even like good enough to be used as like a true X wide receiver 8-out, like almost before the first down marker. But I mean, he was solid. You have to wonder how much of it was like injury or whatever. I don't think that he can really replicate that stretch for a long amount of time because he has shown that he either gets banged up or phased out eventually. But I kind of can see what the Boomers are doing, but I can't do it until like round 4. I can't do it over Marquise Brown either. But I mean, somebody asked in the chat, but he something happened to him today where he was like,
he got arrested for speeding, and I was gonna put a TikTok out about it later. What I read in the full news report was that the Cardinals reported it to the NFL. They were waiting word on, what the situation is. He's probably just going to post bail and get, bailed out or whatever. But there could be some actual NFL discipline that comes from it. But, we'll have to kind of wait and see there. The thing that makes me happy about is that I have Zach Ertz as like a top 3 exposed tight end on Underdog. And with Hopkins already out the first 6 games, if Hollywood Brown gets any discipline, then Ertz is probably going to be one of the fastest starting tight ends at the beginning of the season. He might be like a top 5 guy for the first like 5-6 games.
I'll get through some comments by the way while we're here. So Gorilla got in. All my favorite degenerates together. Have a good show. Appreciate that from Paco.
Perfect. I'm doing good now. I mean, it's been like 9 days since I tested positive, so I'm like 98% healthy, I would say right now.
Is this your first stint with COVID?
It is, yeah.
Wow.
Just want to say one thing. Look at the testosterone from DJ Nav. Let's go, baby. But yeah, here, my bad.
All right, what do we
Dude,
got?
I was really hoping Akers would fall to us.
Appreciate that, Micah.
All the running backs are gone, dude.
Oh, yeah.
We're in a running back hungry draft right here.
Taking Brees 1-1 or reaching for London in a long-term build. Given current market value, I'd definitely take Brees if you're set on picking there. But I would also try to leverage that. And if you're in a long-term rebuild, seeing if you can get 2023, 2024 capital prolonged.
Or just move down to 102 if you want London and see if you can pick up something on top of that.
What are we thinking here, fellas? I don't love the wide
receivers. We could just go Herbert here. That would make some sense.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of Herbert exposure. I think it would be nice.
Yeah, I dig it.
What do we think? Herbert, and then maybe, let's go Herbert and see what comes back.
Yeah, none of the wide receivers really kind of stick out to me.
4-5 turns sucks, man. I've been
really
saying
bad,
it, but it's
and
not good.
I pick 111 in my home league. I know where I'm picking, and even like the 3-4 turn, I don't love a ton either. When you're picking late in the draft, the 3-4 turn I find when you're picking, 103 to 101 to 104 or whatever is a lot better.
It's kind of weird.
Great.
It's kind of weird this year, in my opinion, right? Because the first 5 picks are realistically, as we kind of view, like a tier of their own. And then after that, I mean, you got, like 6 to 11 type of range, which is kind of in a tier. But like 12 to like 25, 26, it feels like a really, really flat tier. So as you kind of said, picking at that 2-3 turn and getting access to that elite ceiling guy and pairing 2 of the guys that are realistically have a similar range of outcomes to the guys that are picking at the 1-2 turn. Like, it's just such an advantage to pick in the top 5 this year, in the top 3, in the top 1, whatever, like in that area.
What do we think about 5th round Gabe Davis? Is that too yucky?
I don't mind.
I don't mind it there.
I also don't mind completely stacking up this division and taking Waller.
Yeah, I do. I do kind of like that.
Yeah,
let's do that.
I'm cool with either guy.
I'll go Waller, I'd say.
Yeah, let's go Waller. I do like the idea of just AFC West out the ass on here.
Yeah,
that is a cool correlation. You're not going to see much of that, eh?
Yeah,
and then 100%. Mix in a cheeky Sky Moore later. Let's go.
And then the it's not even a naked Cooper Kupp. He then has correlation to Herbert and Keenan Allen. Like, that's fun. I got to imagine. I don't know week 16 schedule, but I got to imagine there's an AFC West clash in there. Chiefs. I have to imagine.
Oh, I was just gonna say Denver plays the Chiefs in week 17. I know that.
Yeah.
I'll look it up right now.
I'm trying to think if I had to guess.
We got a big news drop, by the way. The NFL is appealing the Deshaun Watson suspension, so they're looking for indefinite, apparently.
Oh, damn.
So what that means, because I read
Drew
Davenport's thread yesterday, basically, is that this is going to linger and not go away anytime soon, unfortunately, for those of us who have Deshaun Watson in Dynasty and bought on him low and stuff like that. So I doubt they're actually going to get an indefinite suspension, but they're probably going to, like, the NFLPA is now going to like sue the NFL because they hired this independent like arbitrator judge, and she gave them a decision that what I think the NFL did was they went out and got like the decision made, and then they wanted to see what the backlash was, and they saw that it was pretty fucking heavy for people saying like, how is this only 6 games? Like, this guy's a sexual predator or whatever. So I'd imagine what the NFL is going to end up settling on is like probably a 10 to 14 game, maybe this season type of suspension once like lawsuits go back and forth and shit. So hopefully, for those of us that have Deshaun Watson in Dynasty, this, solves itself sooner rather than later, but I doubt it's going to be 6 games.
I agree. I've been like pretty much waiting. I've talked about it on my channel. Like, it's not, obviously it's not something to be proud of, and I'm not like rooting for Deshaun, but he is my most owned player in Dynasty. And there's like, I have like 5 teams that are like frozen. Like, if Deshaun's going to be suspended for over 10 games, then I'm probably just gonna have to, kick it to next year. If it's 6 games, then I can like, sort of contend. So that's like a domino I need to fall so I can make my like last second transactions before week 1.
Yeah. Also, talking about Deshaun too a little bit, right? The viewpoint of the NFL is that they just want to look good from a public eye perspective. Because I mean, yes, obviously the immoral side of this situation is completely wrong from what Deshaun Watson did. However, from the NFL's perspective, they're more so looking to appease the public in terms of what the public views the actions as being, rather than just say, oh yeah, this is our own personal perspective. We want to ban Deshaun Watson. Because ultimately, I mean, they're a smart business. They realize that Deshaun Watson, whether the public perception or not is negative against them, is going to drive revenue. And for the NFL, their main thing is always going to be to drive revenue. So I agree with what Corey said there, where they probably thought, 6 games might appease the public, saw the public backlash and said, okay, well, listen, we got to take this step to show the public that we are pushing for more than what was handed down with that 6-gamer.
Also,
Bush, it seems
juicy
like you're
week 16 matchup. Rams and Broncos play each other.
Oh,
we have Cup and
wow.
Javonte correlated also.
Woo.
Why
Nothing else between those other AFC West teams?
No, the Raiders play the
Man.
Steelers in week 16 and the Chargers play the Colts.
Makes sense. I feel like sometimes they stack those division matchups at the end. Like you can almost
they do that in week 18 is when they stack the division matchups.
That's true.
The final week of the season.
Speaking of the Broncos real quick, why is Javonte the only one I'm gonna like at cost this year?
I don't mind
in terms
Judy.
Of what, all the Broncos? Yeah, I don't mind Judy.
Judy's 401 now.
Early fourth, I'm cool. I'm cool.
I'll take him. Judy at that price.
I'll take him probably. I'll take Marquise Brown ahead of him. I'll probably take Etienne ahead of him. I think I would take Judy ahead of McLaurin though.
I would rather have McLaurin and Deontay and Allen Robinson.
Yeah, I prefer Deontay as well.
I would take A-Rob over him.
I think he's fine in this. He's fine in this fourth round area where once we get to this area of like Cooks and Bateman and stuff and Gabe Davis, it's like these wide receivers don't feel super different. Like I've been talking a little bit. Like there is a small wide receiver dead zone where you're not getting a lot of like advantage in this area as opposed to just going like Elijah Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown, those guys.
We're also just significantly higher on those second-year guys than most people are. So a lot of people are thinking like, give me the safe Brandon Cooks type or whatever. Versus we're like, I don't see a huge difference between Brandon Cooks and Elijah Moore at like median projection, let alone.
Yeah, me too. And I don't see a huge difference from Brandon Cooks to Adam Thielen at median projection.
Yeah, exactly.
I like
you know
Adam
what I mean?
Thielen.
So yeah, and they go like 6-7 turn as well. All right,
so Killer Gorilla says on the speaking of the Broncos, how much do you think KJ Hamler's stock rises, and where do you think he should go now? I think he's going to probably rise more than I'm willing to take him. I'll give my thoughts after this pick here.
All right, what do we think? I don't hate Jacobs for more AFC West. Just it's a puppy team. We could have some fun, but I do like these wide receivers.
Yeah,
all right.
I like
Smith or Drake, Smith or London. All right. I'm saying
both
Smith.
work.
Go Devontae. Let's hope maybe.
And if he comes back, that'll be sweet.
Yeah,
and I don't even like Jacobs, but I think it would be fun.
I don't either, but like I'll take him at pick 75 or whatever we're picking there.
Also, worth noting too, if Thielen had fallen back, Thielen's week 16-17 is very nice. He's got the Giants and the Packers back to back. Okay. And obviously we know Vikings Packers literally every fucking year. Like no matter what the situation is going over.
Dude, I can't believe how like I banked 2 lineups in 1 week in DFS last year because I had Jonathan Taylor, Justin Jefferson in the same lineup for like 2 different tournaments. And that was the week Jonathan Taylor dropped 5 touchdowns and Jefferson went berserk.
I'm good, Tony.
I'm
good.
Renfro is interesting, but I'm good. Tony or Ayuk.
Don't have a preference.
I can't fathomably take Renfro over either of those guys, to be honest.
All right, I have Tony lower exposure, so we'll go Tony. It is pretty crazy that Tony is climbing ADP right now.
He's like a guy that you could routinely get in like round 8, round 9, round 10, and now he
was like a clear tier behind like Devonta Smith and those like second year guys, but now he's in the mix, and I can't really argue against it.
I agree. So the next turn we could be looking at, the rookie tier, as I kind of coin it, where we get, the Sky Moore, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson type of area. It's probably the texture we're looking at the 8-9. Yeah. Oh, if Burke is there, that's a smash.
What do you guys think of Hamler? Where do you think he's going to end up settling into now that Patrick is out?
Maybe round 13, round 12.
I think he'll go higher than that, dude. The Broncos are steamed like crazy. I bet he's a top 10 round pick.
Patrick was going round 11, I think.
Hamler's a big play guy, man. I bet he's like a top 10 round pick.
He could be something here. I would start Hamler in case he falls because he's buried on ADP right now. And maybe you can get some texture to him because obviously as the situation gets steamed up, he'll rise in ADP. But he might slip because people aren't paying attention.
This is a cop-out, but I don't mind him almost right where Tim Patrick was. Like,
yeah,
is that crazy to say?
No, I don't think
Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick is like wide receiver 58, like Tolbert, Watson area, McCole Hardman area. Like,
why is I'm sorry.
Right here.
I'm not even. First of all, I take Tolbert ahead of that range relatively easily. But
really?
Why? Okay, I don't like Christian Watson. Why is he going behind McCole Hardman?
Yeah, dude, McCole Hardman.
McCole Hardman definitely sticks out. I only take him. I know 7%. It's like okay, like you're taking a good chunk of McCole Hardman, but
he might be 0% owned on.
I take a lot of Chiefs. Okay, let me see my Chiefs exposure.
Look. What's your Sky Moore?
Sky Moore 16.
Love that. Love that.
24, isn't it? Oh no, I thought somebody
No.
tweeted out that they had 24% Sky Moore because that's what number he is. I think it was
Yeah.
Jacob Sanderson that tweeted that out.
But yeah, this is where I'm at. I wish I had more McKinnon, especially early on.
Have the 110 in a dynasty 10-man startup. Should I grab AJ Brown, T Higgins, or Debo as my second round pick?
I'm assuming it's a one quarterback startup that you're talking about.
I have AJ Brown ranked the highest there in dynasty.
Yeah, he's my wide receiver 3. He'd be where I would go with as
He'd
well.
be
But
my
I mean, like Higgins is right behind him at wide receiver 4 or 5, I think, for me. So
that's
don't you have Brown 4, Lamb 3, Higgins 5, or did you change Brown?
I have Brown. I'm pretty sure I have Brown 3, Lamb 4, Higgins 5.
Fair.
I think
Okay.
I have it.
Yeah, that's like the next tier.
Those 3 guys are all like kind of in a tier.
Yeah,
like the next 2 after the LSU guys.
I'd agree with that.
I have the same top 5. I just have Higgins and Lamb swap.
Fair. Where did we
Killer Gorilla says, are you guys seeing this 108 team? Go to his team real quick.
No, this 108 team is rough, dude. Allen.
Oh, yeah, no, I pointed it out. Yeah.
Cook, Saquon, Zeke to start. First wide receiver on the roster is Lazar.
Woo! And then he doesn't watch him just take Rodgers to stack him.
I can't.
I
can't tell if he's saying this is a good team or a bad team.
He's saying it's
awful.
What does Killer Gorilla's team look like?
Let me see. 102, right?
3 running backs out the gate. Wide receivers to make up for it. Trey Lance in the 7th.
That's not bad.
Killer, you better not take another running back until round 15.
Do we have 2 running backs, or we just have 1 still?
We have one, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Nice little hero.
Is it me, or are you guys just absolutely loving this like rookie wide receiver tier of round 8 and 9?
Oh, I can't stop drafting them.
Nice.
I've done 2 of those redraft managed leagues so far. I ended up with Burks in both, Wilson in one of them. I'm ending up with a lot of Wilson and Burks just because
I'm not a huge like Olave Watson like guy, but like I don't mind getting
value,
guys in that area. Jahan Dotson and David Bell are like round 11 to 13 picks or whatever. I like grabbing those 2 guys too. Pretty much like after round 8 and 9, I like don't really like any of the wide receivers outside of the rookies for the most part.
Dude, I'm just looking back at it. By the way, whenever our teams from NYC are gonna get released, that'll be fun. But I'm just looking back at my team, and God, I fucking love it.
Dude, my team is. I started my draft Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's a sweet setup.
What are the running? Okay, there's one name at running back I really like here.
Why people sleeping on Van the Man Jefferson? Well, I mean, he's getting surgery now, and I would assume he's not going to. He was actually a guy that I had like 15 spots higher than consensus in my like rankings. I was like, I'm kind of surprised more people aren't in on Van Jefferson from like a best ball perspective, because he was a good like spike week guy where him and Stafford would connect for like long touchdowns and stuff. And I thought like, you know, in like round 11, 12, 13 type of area where you could like get him, I was like, that's not a bad, you know, piece to get exposure to a good offense and a good, like, you know, week 17, like differentiator too.
What do you guys think? You guys like this Russell Gage 0% exposure?
I mean, I don't mind him at this price. I don't think he should be going this low.
I lean Sky more just because of the AFC West theme, but I'm cool with whatever.
I would say definitely Sky here. Simply because I would want Sky and Kareem Hunt on this turn, but I'm seeing that the 2 guys in front of us each have 3 running backs. So if they just go 4, they're ruining their own teams. So yeah, I'm just gonna go Sky. Hear that, Gorilla? Don't go with a running back.
I'll disagree with you there. I think you can go 4, but it has to get cut off there.
Yeah,
like in a traditional, like the hyper fragile one where Herzig won like year 1, he took like 3 running backs in the first 4 rounds and then took like Pollard in round 8.
Fair. Okay.
Well,
I don't think Pollard was that expensive.
I was like completely unimpressed with Herzig's team. That one, I was like,
he essentially snuck in Kamara. I have no clue how he did it. He essentially just snuck in Kamara and just luck boxed the 6 touchdown game at the end. Because Kamara, there must have been something that happened Kamara where it was tough to get him to advance. He might have had like a dud week at some point. I'm not sure.
Also, if you guys are curious in terms of like Christmas this year, it's about to be absolutely elite. Because Christmas Eve is like a Sunday and it's like all, you know, football all day. And then it looks like we have like a bunch of Monday night games or something.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like it's really weird how they have this set up on the schedule.
Also, I want to hear your thoughts, Ron. I know where I'm kind of at here, but what are your thoughts between Cook and Singletary?
Coin toss for me, but I would lean Cook.
That's where I'm at too.
I think Gage should be the pick here easily.
You're saying
Russell Gage?
I think Gage should easily be the pick here. I don't mind the Patriots running backs or the Bills running backs though either.
Yeah, I agree. I do like I like having What
I'll
are
let
we
you make
saying?
this pick. You
Let's
go
go
for
Gage. We'll go Gage.
bet.
I don't have a ton of Gage. I'm here with Bush. This is
I like the Gage pick at this price. This is where I think he should be going because to me, not a whole lot has changed. Like
Julio's washed.
Kind of washed. Chris Godwin, there's like reports that he's going to be healthy. The fantasy docs are kind of pushing against it. They're like, he might be healthy, but I don't think he's going to play a full allotment of snaps and all that kind of stuff. So I still think Gage has like relatively the same range of outcomes that he had before, except now he's like a 9th round pick instead of like a 6th round pick where he never should have been going.
The issue for me with Gage at this price, it's crazy that Garrett Wilson was there. And not that we should have taken him. Like we could realistically get him at like the next turn. You know what I mean? Like I honestly I have so much Garrett Wilson that I don't even really want to like reach like 20 picks for him, or what would it be, like 12? Right. I guess that would be 12 picks for him. But I would take Claypool. I would take Claypool, Lockett, Garrett Wilson over him, and then I think it's a conversation for Gage with like guys like Boyd, Rondale, Galladay, McColl.
Rondale's not even close to that for me. I personally here again, maybe this is short-sighted of me, but
is that pun intended?
Yeah, I'm the same height as you. The picture proved it.
I know. I'm talking about Rondale.
But Ron, why would I ever take 116 or 115 wherever Rondale was going, when I can just get like AJ Green in like round 16, round 17?
Hey, come on now. Let's not be my guy like this.
I'm being serious though. Like,
you're speaking to a Rondale more like, what kind of prospect was he? Like gold tier?
Dude, here's the crazy part. Probably the way that I valued him when he came out, I probably was thinking elite, but after like digging into the process and everything, he really wasn't as clean of a prospect as I thought. So yeah, he's gold, which is like fine, but the way that I thought he was coming out, I thought he was like an elite, very good prospect. A lot of flaws.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to replicate the success that I had of the 2021 class. Like all my flag plants in either direction hit. Like my flag plants at wide receiver for like the guys that were undervalued were like Elijah Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown, like those guys hit. And my flag plants, the guys that stuck were Rondale and Terrace Marshall, and those guys missed. And then at running back, my flag plants were Herbert and Mitchell, who hit. And then my flag plants that I didn't like were Sermon and Gainwell, who didn't. I mean, Gainwell's getting some hype now, but he wasn't like a huge.
Side note, the Cowboys signed Anthony Barr.
Cool. Like,
what? Just pointed it out. I don't know.
You just talked about a defensive player.
I'm a true.
You just tell me about a defensive player, dude. No, dude, I don't even watch that side of the ball.
Any one of us is shocked whatsoever that Elijah Moore is getting buzz. Dude, I'm not shocked whatsoever.
Yeah.
Dude, Bush.
He got buzz last year in training camp. He looks good again this year. 1 year removed, I'm shocked.
Yeah, it's not like the guy's just really good at football, you know.
Nicholas had to bring up a
slight. No,
I actually didn't mind Seth Williams.
I liked him coming out.
He went in like the 6th round.
Before draft capital.
Probably shit.
I just remember Fusu like arguing with people because they had like Seth Williams ranked behind like a top 5 like classified receiver in that draft.
I mean, you also argued with me that Justin Ross is going to be better than Jahan Dotson, despite one going undrafted and one going in the top 20. Tough.
So, look at this hot 3-way. Is there Cobra? 3 Goats of Fantasy YouTube. Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. And then we left off here.
Yeah, I'm down here.
Yeah, dope.
I got 50% Sky Moore because I'm only in 2 leagues. Yeah, dude. Redraft leagues, being in a lot of redraft leagues is one of the most overrated aspects of fantasy. I like being in like one redraft league and getting the rest of my fix from best ball.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't mind having a few redraft leagues. I'm kind of a degenerate.
Like
I'm going to be too many, but I understand.
It's going to be my home league and our listener league, and that's it.
Yeah. In my startup.
I was gonna say I've had some Discord guys asking if we're running that back. The what did we have? The League of Toast Centers last year. We had like
my
Discord guys.
Probably the worst draft I've ever had in my entire life. Like
looking at that board was crazy.
I knew with every pick that my team was gonna suck. I was like, I hate every value on the board right now. Everything.
Dude, I think we were on like wide receiver 70 by round 10.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't draft a wide receiver until round 4, and I like barely got Brandon Ayuk at like the 411 or something like that because I took Barkley, Swift, and Waller with my first 3 picks, and I was like, and all the wideouts were gone by the time I got back to my 4th.
And look who made it back to us, fellas.
Oh God, dude,
this is Garrett Wilson, and it has to be.
This is a 7 wide receiver build.
True.
Yeah, I think I have Garrett Wilson, and then we stop.
Here?
Let's go.
No, we have nobody, but I think we're gonna be fine. Let's go 7, and we could even go 7 running backs deep here. Like a 2-7-7-2 build makes sense here.
Do you think it's overkill if we take Derek Carr if he falls?
I was also thinking the same thing.
Oh, there's one name though. Like hopefully
we can always backdoor Justin Fields and Cole Kmet or some
I
shit.
agree.
Yeah.
I like that
We could
name
do
as
that.
well.
Or we could just take Isaiah Spiller because we have the Chargers correlation.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at as well, but I was trying to keep it on the hush hush with Killer Gorilla in there.
Killer Gorilla's fine. If he snipes, then
You're big on Claypool now, right? I saw like the thumbnail.
I do like Claypool, yes.
What was the
I like
basis of
Claypool.
your argument that, like, I don't know if you talked about it or not. I didn't catch the video, but did you talk at all about Deonte potentially not playing?
No, but that is interesting. In terms of it's like the
I am
holdout.
starting to think that he's not going to play.
I don't think he is either.
If I'm him and I'm seeing Debo get this bag, does he? I heard from one of the guys in my stream that they all have the same agent between DK, AJ Brown, and Debo, which is insane. I imagine he's not under that same agent, which is like kind of a fumbled bag for him. But
yeah, well, I feel like DJ Moore, Chris Godwin, Debo, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, they all signed like the exact same contract, like 3 years, like 70 to 75
Moore got
million.
screwed. I saw a graphic where he didn't I guess he signed one of the first ones, and
he got like 61 mil or something like that, didn't he? For
Wait,
3
who?
years?
DJ
Moore.
Yeah,
I think on a per year basis, it's like a good chunk less than those guys like Debo and stuff, but at the same time, they are better wide receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think DJ Moore got like 21 or 22 million a year.
Him and Godwin got like the exact same contract, I'm pretty sure.
And
Godwin had to get less because he was injured.
This scares me for what CeeDee Lamb asked for next year.
You guys like Spiller here? Or,
Derek
Carr
is
this far past
Madison,
ADP.
but hopefully Madison falls.
Spiller or Carr, whatever you prefer, Ron.
I would rather have Madison than Spiller. Let me just put that on record.
Let's go Spiller just for the AFC West.
True.
And get some more like Chargers to Herbert to Keenan Allen. Let's go Spiller. I also love the idea. Jacob Sanderson talked about it a while back, but like you kind of get these identity correlations where Isaiah Spiller to Herbert and Keenan Allen, Spiller only pays off if Eckler gets hurt, right? It like pays off in a massive way. And if Eckler gets hurt, they're going to ramp up the passing volume, and then Herbert and Keenan Allen also benefit from that. So it's like
it's funny you mentioned that because that's the exact case I made for why in a Raven stack I would much prefer Gus Edwards than J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, 100%. If you're matching like pass catchers with them and everything.
Yeah,
I dig that. On Jalen all you want.
There's other go back to the board because there's also a key name that I want to fall back.
Oh shit, my bad. I was on the board.
No, you're good.
Oh no, you mean
the rankings board. Scroll down. I just want to see if he's available. I'm not going to say the name, but scroll down a little bit. By the way, Julio Jones currently going now as high as he is crazy to me.
You think that's too high?
Yes.
I don't hate that. I don't think
it's too high. I just probably won't draft him very much.
Just give me Jahan Dotson at that price.
Yeah, Jahan Dotson.
J-Mo.
KJ
Osborne versus Julio for you.
I'd take Osborne.
See, I wouldn't, but I would take
Julio over Osborne.
Yeah. Julio's weekly ceiling is pretty crazy for best ball. Like even last year, watched up that Titans game, he put up I want to say almost 20 points in that game. I could be wrong. Kind of talking out of my ass.
You see his reception perception numbers yet?
They're dog shit.
No. Those came out and they're really bad.
They're really bad.
You know who's fucking
percentile gets bad.
You know whose reception perception's awful too? Is fucking Allen Lazard.
Oh yeah, bad, dude.
Dude, I think he was max 20th percentile across the board. Let me just check this.
Dude, okay, so is Romeo Dubs high key the guy that's gonna lead that team in targets?
He's drawing live for it, man.
Yeah, they're getting real excited about him.
Randall Cobb, baby, don't sleep.
I've been taking 18th round Randall Cobb.
No, he's not. He's not bad at all.
That's what I mean. Allen Lazard last year, his perception, 15th percentile against man, 10th percentile against zone, and 27th percentile against press. But he's going to be a number one wide receiver.
For Rager numbers.
Literally,
Rager's been killing it in practice recently. Apparently.
Oh God. What's a reasonable amount of 2023, 2024 capital to get for the 101? If you can guarantee me you're getting an early first next year, I would take an early first, probably straight up over the 2023 or the 2022 101.
Yeah, I would too.
If you just want to trade down to 102 to get London, I think this is the same person that asked the question. You can always just try and do that.
I would rather just parlay that into future capital though.
I don't think you'll get two 23 first, but like a 23 first and a 24 first probably.
Yeah, if you can get 2 1s or like a really early 2023 first and like maybe a small piece on top of that, then I'm cool doing that too.
Yep. No, I agree with that.
Looks like we got a super from Fantasy Football.
Oh, appreciate that.
Pushed all in for winning this year. 1 quarterback, 2 flex spots. My starting roster is Brady, Mixon, Eckler, Diggs, Evans, CMC, Pittman, Kelsey, Justin Tucker, 12-team PPR. That's one of the best redraft rosters I've ever seen. So if I'm assuming this is a dynasty league that you like pushed into the middle, you should be able to win with that team, assuming you have some depth here and there to be able to fill out some shit.
Yeah, that's got to be one of the strongest starting rosters in your league easily.
In redraft is Pitts in the Kelsey Andrews tier of his own or with Kittle Waller. So the way I have him ranked is I have him in the Kittle Waller tier, but I think he's going as if he's in his own tier in between those 2 tiers, which I don't really agree with, which is why I don't get a lot of Pitts.
He's tough for me because it's like the volume is everything that you want there. Because if he plays this year, second year, he's probably going to be at about a 22-23% target share, give or take. What do you say, Ron? You're the numbers guy. If Pitts stays healthy, where's his target share, you think?
Probably right around there. I think on a per route basis last year, he was like a 22% guy. I would say probably median projections like 22, 23. I would say high end is like 26, but that would be pretty crazy. That would be pretty crazy. Yeah.
Okay. Are you okay with this price or do you think he should be going lower?
It depends on the format, man. It seems like that's the one thing between best ball and redraft. Like the tight ends do get pushed up a ton, but like 4th round Pitts, I'm in every time. Like that's where you're getting him
4 for sure. I think he's consistently like a mid to early round 3 pick in best ball, but like you said, in like a home league draft, he'll probably be like a 4th round pick.
Did we just get sniped by a guy who took his RB6? How many running backs does Hit the Floor have?
He's trying to hit the floor, dude.
Oh my god, Henderson would have been so good in this build,
dude.
We have top 2.
This has to be a running back. What do you guys think?
Oh, you know where I'm going.
Hines, Algier, Carter.
That's Algier.
This
is Algier would be the guy I would go with.
Yeah.
Let's go Algier.
I'm just so upset about Hendo.
I've been in on Algier. I
respect it.
Oh yeah, you love to see it.
I'm just upset about Hendo, man.
That's what I mean though. Like brutal. I need to be better I need to be as good as I was last year with my flag plants because Tyler Algier is one of my flag plants at running back. So
interesting. Also, thoughts?
You think he starts week 1?
I do.
Algier, yeah.
I mean, like, how valuable is his role in like a bad offense with Cordero Patterson mixing in? I don't know, but if he's like a guy that's like routinely ranked as like a back end RB2, high end RB3 in my weekly rankings, I think that's a huge W for where you drafted him. And a guy that like is just good depth for your team, maybe has some ceiling or whatever. I have no idea, but from like a dynasty perspective, I think his best year is going to come this year. It's going to kind of remain to be seen how much that is.
You guys open to Hines here? It's just like a PPR
I think
floor option.
We don't really have that archetype of running back.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm cool with that.
I think he would just be nice to get some of those PPR weeks in.
Didn't you mention the Colts play one of the teams that we have stacked
They do,
up?
yeah. They play the Chargers.
So then we have correlation to Tony and correlation to because they play Giants week 17, I believe.
Yeah, the Giants play. If only we got Madison, because the Giants play the Vikings. Week 16.
Yeah. Here, go back to Hit the Floor. Yeah, he's got 5 running backs, so he just sniped us on his RB5. Wait, how many dead zone running backs did he take? Yeah, how many dead zone running backs did he take?
I would say like Elijah Mitchell. I guess Breece Hall technically counts,
I thought he had a 3rd in that range. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because he had the 8-9. Okay,
fair. Penny, his price is getting a little bit crazy. I was actually like, I have a decent exposure to Penny, but like he's now going up. He's going to pick 80 or like 90. He was like 115 at one point, which I was fine with. I was fine with 115, but
I got a good amount of him when he was at 1. That's actually really good for me.
I would rather just find a guy who's going to be the candidate to be this year's Rashad Penny than take Rashad Penny. If that
I actually have a fucking fair bit of Rashad Penny, but that's at like 115 plus price tag. I have 20% when he was that cheap.
There's a sweet nerdy tool out there, Michael Dubner on RotoViz. He has like you can export your best ball rosters on there. Like if you just take like your exposures from the 2022 season, that tab, and you sort of like import them in there. It's annoying to do, but when you do it, he'll show you your exposures. He'll show you what the ADP of that player is now, the average ADP of where you took that player, and then kind of like your closing line value. So that's sweet to see where you can see like, oh, I got Penny when he was cheap, or I got Julio when he was cheap, kind of thing.
Well,
by the way,
I can tell you right now, I wasn't paying no 12th round price for Algier and all my exposure of him. I have him. He's like one of my
especially
third
those big boards
running back, and he was like a 15th round pick. When
I have how much Algier do I have? I only have 9.3% Algier right now, but that's still above market. The one that I have a ton of, and I mean I mentioned when we got sniped on him. What do you guys think my exposure for Daryl Henderson is right now?
I know it's high because I've seen it.
Super high.
I'm gonna say like 35%.
Okay, no, not that high.
Oh, okay. What is it at?
25.9.
Okay, he's actually I'll just switch real quick, but he's my most owned running back right now.
You probably got more flat.
Or no, he's okay, 17.7, 18.2. So Rojo's up there, but let's not even look at Rojo. Everyone.
I have a ton of Rojo too. Don't worry.
So much Marlon Mack too.
I'm done getting
Marlon Mack, J.D. McKissick, and Tyler Algier are my three highest owned running backs, and then Akers, Michelle, and Javonte Williams are my three behind that. But those are like early round guys versus late round guys.
I have a ton of Brian Robinson and Khalil Herbert as well. Also, I have 18.5% Sony Michelle.
Yeah. So much Sony Michelle. 15.8% of him.
It's like, dude, don't get me wrong.
He's the guy that's going to be this year's Penny if I had to pick one.
I think he could be this year's Connor.
He could be this year's Michelle because Michelle was also very good to close out the season.
That's another good one. Yeah.
I think you guys are sleeping on Edmonds a little bit. I know you guys both are a little bit lower on Edmonds.
No,
that backfield is just it's a 49er scheme. Just give me the cheapest option. That's always been my philosophy. Mostert's probably going to get hurt in like 2 practices.
This is where I'm at on the Dolphins. I hate my Gesicki exposure. I promise that might not be up to date. Everyone chill on that. Everyone chill.
I also have a little bit too much Gesicki as well.
Ron,
I'm completely out on him.
You like Edmonds? I like him. The problem that I have though is again, I hate to make this comparison because literally, Edmonds was, in that fucking backfield last year, but in terms of the valuable touches, yes, he's going to get the reception role. But as soon as they go into the red zone, Sony Michel's the best archetype on that team to get the volume in that scenario. So realistically, it's like if Edmonds is getting pulled out of the game and inside the 20 type of opportunities, inside the 20 type of situations, you're solely relying on that PPR. And again, I don't mind that because at his current price tag, you're not really paying for him to be a 3-down back anyways. You're paying for him to be, high value touches between the 20s, receptions. That's fine. But at opportunity cost, if I'm guaranteed, let's say 50% of the backfield touches in the red zone area where Sony Michel is currently going, given the archetype, if you're getting that at round 18 prices, why are we not just swinging for the fences there? Because
he also just looked pretty good last year also.
And if the Dolphins take that step up, because basically the Dolphins' offense right now is being priced as if they're going to take the step up. Obviously, with Tyreek being there, they have an opportunity to. If that's the case, they're going to have a lot of scoring opportunities. They're going to have a lot of opportunities to score touchdowns, to punch it in those situations. And Sony Michel has the best archetype of that entire backfield to fit that role. Especially in the 49er scheme.
I was going to ask, I know you're high on Javonte Bush. I was in a spot last night, or we can kind of talk after these picks are done, but I was in a spot last night in my draft where it was like, because I imagine you probably have A.J. Brown high as well, right? Because I know you were talking about A.J. Brown and Mike Evans too. Do you have Javonte like before or after that tier of like Evans, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown? Because I was at a spot at like that 205 area, or no, like 208-ish, where it didn't feel good to take A.J. Brown or T. Higgins at ADP because they're going like early third, mid third in a lot of these like boomer spots. So I did just kind of hold my nose and take Javonte a little bit earlier than I would have liked.
Javonte Williams is my 12th ranked player.
Okay, so that answers that.
I have him higher than the next highest receiver ahead of him is Diggs. I have him higher than Lamb, Evans, and AJ Brown, all of them.
I have
rough.
So you have him 12th overall, right, Butch? You said. Mm-hmm. I currently have Javonte Williams ranked.
What do we think about Daniel Jones or Gus Edwards? What do we think?
I like Daniel Jones as a second quarterback.
Yeah, I dig it.
Boom. There it is. There it is. Thinking on the fly. Yeah, just absolutely just teeing up a great question for you guys while we're on the clock.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams is my 19th ranked player right now.
Yeah. Okay.
I think in like a full PPR format, if you wanted to favor Evans, Lamb, some of those other wide receivers in that area, like that kind of makes some sense. But I do think, full PPR or any kind of PPR kind of gives favor to Javonte anyway, because, he showed down the stretch last season that he was running the routes, 2-minute drill snaps and, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, just give me the
I'm cool with any of these running backs here, or like
Matt, I mean,
cool.
I have a ton of Marlon Mack. He would be the guy that I would go with, but I don't mind Edwards here as well.
I don't mind Mack there. I also, again, this is gross.
Do we have another tight end that we need?
I was just going to say, if we want to close out our tight end build, we can get Evan Ingram here.
I'm down for Evan Ingram.
Yeah, we can mix that in there.
Probably solid.
Evan Ingram, and then we'll just like hammer like 3 straight running backs in this draft.
Pretty much.
We're getting skinny at this RB2 spot, but in a puppy shooting for upside, I don't mind.
And I mean, like, again, we kind of mentioned, like, we still have some favorable archetypes in our builds here. So, like, a guy like Brian Robinson, I think.
How the fuck is J.D. McKissick pick 189?
McKissick, I thought McKissick was gone. Yeah, McKissick would be really nice. I like Brian Robinson. I know you're lower on him, but I do like Brian Robinson at current cost of acquisition. Jerick McKinnon is interesting.
I want more exposure to him.
I don't mind Chris Evans.
Yeah, all these archetypes are fun. All of these archetypes. I think Sony Michel's fun. I think Kenyon Drake is fun. What do you guys like Kenyon Drake at all?
Yeah, I actually do. And that could be correlation in.
You guys are low on Zamir White, and I didn't mind him coming out, but I think that they're going to essentially redshirt him. Brandon Bolden's going to be in the mix. Like
he might actually be one of the worst running back prospects I've ever seen. Like get hype. Like to me, he reminded me so much of like Jamar Jefferson last year, but like just absolute trash film. Like, not that good on paper either. Like, why is this guy getting hype? Dude. And also, probably the worst 99th percentile athlete I've ever seen on film.
Dude, he was zeroth percentile yards created.
He's like the worst.
The worst
ever charted before.
Scroll back to the what's it called? Scroll back to the running backs because. There's
real quick. I want to answer Jared's question because he's super chatted and it's been on.
I thought you did. My bad.
So I prefer Keenan Allen by like a wide margin there. I have Keenan Allen ranked as like a top 24 player on my board, so he's like above.
I take Allen
for me. I like Darren Waller, but I would rather have Keenan Allen for sure.
I mean, it is a 2x tight end premium, but I would still take Allen. Yeah, Waller would be right above the next tier receivers, I would say. So right after you get past, your Allen, your Pittman around there. I don't mind mixing Waller in there.
Yeah, and a tight end. Actually, didn't realize it was tight end premium, but yeah, that would probably be where he would fit in for me as well in that kind of format.
Where do we leave off here?
I think we left off
we're up here. Okay, we asked what you can get for the 101. Got Van at 7. Who do you guys target in rounds 20 to 30? The deeps. Fuck, man.
I did a video called Late Round Values where I talked about
Marvin
like getting
Jones.
Veterans and like Marvin Jones, like guys that you can flip in season to contenders are the type of guys that I go after in rounds 20 to 30. So like guys that I talked about in that video were like Kendrick Bourne, Rip, Tim Patrick was one of those guys.
Kenyon Drake.
Kenyon Drake. Like guys that are going to have value in the event of like injury or like maybe just undervalued veterans because they're older and they don't have a ton of
running backs.
Yeah. Guys like
Damian Williams,
Matt Breida. Yeah, there's some interesting names there. And redraft. Did that.
Give me Julio over AJ Green. I think at cost I'd rather have AJ Green, but like who has the better season?
You're telling me straight up you're taking AJ Green over Julio.
I would. I mean, he was the better player last year on the film.
Dude, why are you like an AJ Green truther?
I don't know.
This channel, we made like a brand on hating AJ Green.
I hated AJ Green, but if you're gonna give me access to him in round 17, 18, like I will take him.
Like, yeah, but that's not the question. He said which one has the better season, Julio or AJ Green?
Just know Julio had 6 for 128. In week 2 last year. I don't think AJ Green has done 6 for 128 since like 20.
I think he did have I think he did have a blow up game last year. I know he finished with like 850.
All I know is that the thing I love about the Cardinals is like they're the one team that you can say that like wide receiver cornerback matchups absolutely matter for because they have never moved their wide receivers once around the formation. Like Hopkins runs every route on the left side of the field. AJ Green every route on the right side of the field. Christian Kirk every route from
that's very weird.
I mean, shout out AJ Green, commanded 92 targets last year and was a top 45 wide receiver.
Dude, if you asked me where AJ Green finished last year, top 45 would be like my 7th guess.
Dude, he was pretty good. Let's go.
I got Ayuk at the 10:03 in a 12-team super flex. He fell pretty hard. Yeah, I think people are sleeping on Ayuk from a redraft perspective. I think he's starting to get some steam, but still in a dynasty setting, I think people are just way too low on him.
Makes no sense. Also, why is Mark Ingram there? Like, come on. He's 34 years
He
old.
was just steamed because of
Kamara
suspension with
potential
Kamara.
suspension. Yeah.
I guess, but he just wasn't good at all last year. So, like, even if Kamara did miss time, are we really sure he's just gonna, command the reins of that backfield?
Fun fact about Mark Ingram, and I talked about this in one of my threads, but Mark Ingram there's only been 3 seasons of since 2015 where a running back has been a top 12 running back in points per game. That's in his 6th NFL season or later, and Mark Ingram has 2 out of those 3 seasons that it happened. It was McCoy.
That's great.
2017.
I think McKissick here.
Yeah, McKissick would be my pick.
Yeah.
I think it's I think his first top 12 season might have even came with Kamara as a rookie, right? Or am I remembering that
it
wrong?
was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And
Which
then his
crazy.
second one was his year 8 season with Baltimore
with the Ravens. Yeah.
Dude, is he? How old is he now? Like 34? He's 33.
Yeah.
Also,
Also,
you guys have any leans here? So,
quick
Sony is
J.K.
like
Dobbins plug. The fact that Mark Ingram was an RB1 at age 29, just because he scored 12 rushing touchdowns with the Ravens, gives me all the hope in the world that if Dobbins is on the field, he's going to be good. I need to see Dobbins play preseason games, though. I won't.
Any of those upside running backs work for me, Ron?
What do we think?
Are we 100% steadfast that we're not drafting another tight end?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this just has to be 2 more running backs. I'm cool with whatever. Nothing sticks out.
I don't mind Evans. I
like Drake and Michelle the most out of these guys, to be honest.
I like the Ernest too, though. Fuck. I'll let you choose, Ron.
One.
You choose one.
Oh boy.
Donovan Peoples-Jones?
No.
Oh, you hate to see
In what worlds?
Oh, Ron.
He's squaring up in practice, apparently.
Hey, Ron, 6
Cut that
games
dog
to Sean. When he comes back, he's going to take the leap. Let's go. Cringe. That's awful.
This team, for what it's worth, is pretty disgusting outside of that. Disgusting in a good way. Outside of that last pick.
Agreed.
Fine. We're fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
Hey,
dude,
if you're in the chat,
tilting my face off.
If you're in the chat, shout right now, Ron Stewart, Donovan Peoples-Jones, truther, baby. Let's go.
Oh, speaking of lanky receivers that are downfield options, what are your thoughts on the Nico Collins buzz that we're getting right now?
It's rough, dude. I'm sort of just sort of indifferent about him, but if he starts to get steamed, I think he will. He's definitely. I mean, where did he go in this draft?
He's literally the archetype that always gets steamed every year.
Yeah, he's a face planner that has a big play upside type of archetype, so it's gonna happen.
Dude,
he might get steamed to Michael Pittman area, Michael Pittman area of last year.
When did Deonte Foreman become a 16th round pick? Wasn't he always going round 18, or am I tripping?
Nah, he's been getting pushed up.
Okay, fair.
Nico went in round 12.
By the way,
or Javonte, that is fucking criminal.
Wait, he goes 12th round now?
158.
Oh, that guy just reached.
He reached a little bit. 158. What the hell is this guy's name, dude?
Probably
was it DJ? It would be hilarious if it was DJ Nav.
Probably his name might just be Sheep. So
Woobs.
I mean, he did get Josh Paul.
Pick 138. So around but that's, dude. I think that's where his ADP is going to settle out. Which is actually. Is that where Pittman was going last year? Round 12?
No,
I want to say it might have been 8, 9.
Round 7, round 8, wasn't he?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I remember on NFL Fantasy, I did a couple mock drafts, and Pittman was a 5th round pick on NFL.
I remember that. Remember we were making that joke in the call? Why is Michael Pittman going above Cooper Kupp and shit?
He was. It was super weird. Okay, let's rip through some of these questions here. Brian says, do we feel that Javonte slips to the 3rd? I mean, if he does, you auto smash him there. I'm willing to take him at the I pick 11 in my home league, and I'm probably going to pick him with my 2nd pick.
He loves it. Only
got Komet, who should be my tight end too, not tight end premium. Bella. Yeah, I mean you're kind of weak at tight end, but the rest of your roster was just so stupid that it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Get Hamler off the queue. You can't snipe my question.
Where did Hamler go?
He went
14.
probably.
Zach did. I see it.
Yeah, that's not bad. I'm definitely cool with him there.
Yeah, I'm in on that price.
Yeah, I wanted Osborne. He went right before my pick, and it was between Julio and Van Jefferson, and I went Van since it's Dynasty. Yeah, Van Jefferson's. I mean, he was a guy that I liked in Dynasty startups too, just because he was going so late, and I thought the spike week potential was there. We say underdog drafts are good practice for home leagues, but they shouldn't be looked at the exact same way. Yeah, no, you definitely don't want to say like 1-for-1, the underdog ADP will be the ADP of your home league. Stacking like Mike Williams, Gabriel Davis types are going to go higher on underdog than they'll go in your home leagues. And Ron mentioned it already too, but the tight end position, the high end tight ends will usually go higher on underdog than they will in a home league draft as well. But for the most part, like, the degree to which wide receivers get taken is one thing that you'll notice a big discrepancy in between a home league draft and a underdog draft, which means that you can get a lot of wide receiver value in home league drafts. Because you can do like a hero RB with like Javonte in the second round and hammer out like Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, and like fucking Amon-Ra in like round 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, which is pretty fucking nuts.
You guys been hearing this Pacheco bus?
No thanks.
Isaiah Pacheco's getting steam.
He's getting steam. Guys in my chat yesterday were telling me about it. I haven't really found the blurb, but I've heard about it.
Yeah,
dude, he's just like, no, I'm good.
I can't wait till we get the like irrelevant shitter week 1 preseason guys that are getting steam, like the 7th round, like when Ty Chandler runs like a long touchdown for the Vikings or some shit,
or fucking what's his name, like Eno Benjamin.
Yeah, or when I saw Jeremy McNichols got like put on IR and they signed like Master Teague. I can't wait till he gets some steam.
Master Teague, I love that guy.
Like he might be an elite prospect for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I actually thought if he got like round 7 draft capital or something, I thought he was somewhat interesting.
Dude, he tested out the fucking.
Yeah, he tested crazy, man. I love it, dude. His name is just crazy, dude. His name is Master.
Yeah,
he's like a Jedi, dog. Like you gotta call him Master when you talk to him.
Wait, did Soldier just take his 4th quarterback?
Pacheco
speaking
goes.
of the,
by the way, there's some great names in the 2023 running back class next year.
Blake Corum, baby.
What are we saying about just Sony here? I think Sony's fine.
Yeah, Sony would be my pick. But like we got like Jameer Gibbs is a dope name. We got Deuce Vaughn, and he's like 170 pounds soaking wet, but it's a sick name. I think A-Chain's name is sweet too. And then like Tank Bigsby, like
Tank Bigsby's amazing.
You know he's got to be a
great running back name, dude.
Even like the Georgia guys, Kendall Milton and Kenny McIntosh just sound like dope ass running back names for some reason.
One sounds like an apple.
Yeah,
yeah. Look at this team. Wait, AJ Green undrafted. That's criminal.
I love that. After all the steam. Yeah. I don't hate him. Like I have some exposure. I don't think that I think he's fine if you have like Cardinals and you only got like Kyler to Marquise and you're looking for something else. I think he's fine.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if we got AJ Green instead of Donovan Peoples-Jones. We'll say that.
No,
yeah, facts. Okay, we'll speed through some of these questions here and then we'll probably hop off. Brett says this is probably a question for Ron as the noted Kadarius Toney truther. Would you give up the 201 pick? I'm assuming that means this year's 201 for Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, I've made that trade before. As long as there's nothing that like I really like too much on the board there, but I would take Kadarius Toney over James Cook, Rashad White, all of the guys that kind of go in that area. I'd probably take him over as well, like the David Bell guys, Wan'Dale Robinson.
If Dotson's on the board, I wouldn't do this. But if Dotson is not on the board,
I agree. I would have Dotson ahead.
Ooh. Ron, the character development. He's a Dotson guy now. I love it.
No, I'm playing.
Hey,
no, sir.
I will say, Jahan Dotson noted like guinea pig this year for my theory that wide receivers who get better throughout their college career are the real reason why, N'Keal Harry, Jalen Reagor types busted is because they had peak seasons in like their sophomore season or whatever. And Dotson had the opposite of that. So hopefully he's the guy that proves that theory.
I see.
I guess I got to put Tim Patrick in my IR whenever that's available.
Okay, I'm just ripping through some of these questions here. Offered a 2023 first and 2024 first for 101 and 207. Yeah, take that.
Yeah.
That's a good move in a productive struggle.
Yep.
All
pain.
Top league winners at each position.
That's
I made like 4 videos on it.
Those are coming soon, though. We have throughout August a bunch of what's the coin that you call them? Superlative content. Yeah.
You guys didn't have superlatives at a university or whatever the hell you guys are, grade 12, whatever the hell you want to call your senior year of high school.
What is superlatives in that context?
You didn't like senior superlatives. You have your yearbook and it's like most likely to be famous one day.
Yeah, I got most likely to get ID'd when I'm 30.
That's hilarious.
I think mine was like I have one. I didn't show up to the ceremony, but they gave it to my cousin, I guess. But I got one that was like most likely to be like a talk show host. So I mean that kind of correlates.
Yeah, shout out CLB.
Shout out.
I don't know if you're talking to us or Ron, but I'm assuming
certified lover boy.
Take the thing there.
Anytime, Nicholas. I have Jefferson, Najee, Hall, Chubb as keepers. Who would you grab as your wide receiver 2 in the 5th?
I mean, I don't have fucking any idea who's going to be on the board, given that there's this many keepers.
Is there any chance you could trade Chubb for a wide receiver?
Yeah, literally, I would gladly do that.
The classic.
We built out a dicey hero RB where we got some questionable shit. We didn't even get one of the I usually when I build out a hero RB, I like to get at least a Ramondre level RB2 as my first guy, but I think it's not bad.
I mean, we got sniped bare on Kareem Hunt because the guy took his 5th running back.
You're also you have a hard on for Kareem Hunt. I'm not.
He's good, man. You got to get in on Kareem Hunt.
I am in on Kareem Hunt. You just love him.
I love him.
Anyways, Mitchell and Cam Akers on my dynasty roster. Should I be looking to trade either of them away? If so, for what? Yeah, I mean, I'm trading Mitchell away for sure. If you can get, an early 2 next year or something like that, I'd be looking for something like that. But I mean, it all depends on what you can get for either of those guys. Because as much as I love Akers, there's definitely a price for him too.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Jefferson, Mixon, AJ Brown were my first 3 picks at 104. I'm not even a huge Mixon guy, but I'll take Mixon at the back of the second.
I agree.
I dig it. And we could look through Gorilla Squad. Let's see what he's got rolling.
Yeah.
3 RBs out the gate.
Yeah. What do you think about the NFL appealing his suspension? Yeah. I mean, it's not looking good for him to be able to play this year if they're trying to appeal it because they know how much work they're undertaking by doing that. And they really want to set the tone on him clearly and make sure that he doesn't play. So, I mean, Amari Cooper just falls further and further down my draft board. I don't know how far he could fall, but he's pretty fucking low.
Team looks good to me so far. Yeah, you ended off at 5. I like the way you kind of built that out. You didn't get, the mid-round RB4, so you got 2 late-round darts.
Got a pat stack, so we got, Devontae Parker, probably Hunter Henry.
Yeah. I think it's well structured.
Highest owned tight end on Underdog, by the way.
Hunter Henry? I like him as well.
Give me the spike week touchdowns.
How much Henry do I have? I have currently 13% Hunter Henry is my tight end 4 that I've owned. Dallas Goedert's my number 1.
I lied. Pat Freiermuth is my highest owned tight end, 23%. I have Hunter Henry 19.3 though.
Goddard and Freiermuth are tied for first for me at 16.7.
I don't know if there's a video made already, but could you talk about when is the best time to sell an older player? Example, Keenan Allen. I mean, I did an entire 2-part video series on running backs when to sell them, but
you also have a video of the calendar.
Pardon?
You also have a video on the calendar.
Right. I did do a video called the Dynasty Fantasy Football Calendar. So if you're looking at selling veterans, the best time of year to do so will be in the coming weeks with the season starting and preseason games
100%.
And teams looking at their rosters and being I need a wide receiver 2 for my roster to compete this year.
Allen's wide receiver 30 in Dynasty, but by week 4, if he's putting up wide receiver 8 numbers, you could probably sell him for wide receiver 20, 21, 22 area. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
exactly.
It all depends on what time of year you're in, especially with the because veteran wide receivers they have absolutely no value in January, February, March.
Yeah.
Will Aaron Jones or Dillon have a better season in Green Bay? I'll take Jones, assuming they stay healthy. But I like Dillon at his. I honestly
who has a better chance to pay off ADP?
It's a weird situation that I like both of those guys at their price. The only thing with Dillon is that he needs I think you just said it. He needs an injury to pay.
I was just about to say. Ron, Aaron Jones is more likely to pay off at his ADP, but AJ Dillon's more likely to smash his ADP. So
that's fair.
If I am going for a running back, I'm not, as you know, you're in the same belief. You're not going for the player that is probably going to slightly outproduce where they're going in terms of their ADP. So for me, structurally, I would rather swing on Dillon as long as the cost isn't too crazy. If he starts creeping up in the round 5 area, I'm out. But if you can routinely get him, especially more in home leagues, he's going to go later than he is in best ball. So in home leagues, if he's going round 7, round 8, you want to take him as the first upside cuff, which is basically what he represents. I'm fine with it there. But again, on Underdog, sometimes I'll see him randomly going round 5. And I'm I can't take him over some of those receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks.
I agree. Yeah. I'd also say with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, just a little slight pushback. I obviously, if I go to my Packers exposure here, I don't think I'm drafting either of them. Yeah, I'm not drafting either. I
That's
hate to be that guy.
where I'm at as well. I'm not like, I don't hate any of them, and I don't love either of them.
I have 1.9% Aaron Jones.
I can do Jones like in the middle of the second, or like middle late, but like this is what 204 is 16. I can't do 204.
Yeah.
But like I think some people like AJ Dillon has definitely upside to smash his ADP if Aaron Jones goes down. But I was talking to you in DMs about it. But like the idea that if AJ Dillon goes down,
That's
Aaron
fair.
Jones could also smash his ADP on the other side of that. Because I would imagine let's say AJ Dillon, like God forbid, major injury tomorrow, out for the season. Aaron Jones is what, top 8, top 10 pick, probably right there.
Oh yeah,
in
guaranteed.
Dalvin Cook,
Probably,
Derrick Henry area.
Yeah.
I'd definitely take him over at least Dalvin Cook.
But also, what do you guys think on the other side of that? If Aaron Jones goes down, AJ Dillon, where does he go in drafts like tomorrow? If Aaron Jones goes down with a major injury,
Right after the Fournette area.
Yeah, I think that's where he would end up going probably.
ahead of Etienne and Brees for you guys.
Pardon?
Easily ahead of Etienne and Brees, I think.
Brees and
in terms of
Etienne
ADP.
ahead.
Yeah, I would take him over Brees
yeah.
and Etienne for sure.
That's fair. I would have him. I think it would get close between him and like a Chubb.
I'd easily take him over Chubb.
I would take him over Chubb straight up.
Yeah. I'm also way lower on Chubb. I don't think you want to.
We just buried Chubb in our rankings. I have literally, I have one share of Nick Chubb, and he fell to 46.
Wow, that's actually crazy.
Ron, you got surprised when you saw where I had Dalvin Cook ranked. You're gonna be even more surprised if you saw where I had Chubb ranked.
I have Nick Chubb at like RB 18 or some shit. Like I have him.
Let me see here.
You guys interested? Like, let's say Kareem Hunt gets traded tomorrow. You guys back in? Because I would be very interested. I think at that point, here's the thing: if Kareem Hunt gets traded tomorrow or something, I don't see a huge difference between like Nick Chubb and like Dalvin Cook.
I'm lower.
Like, I would say Chubb. I would have Chubb ahead of Dalvin Cook. I think in that scenario,
that's a fair take, but I would rather have Cook because I mean, Watson's just
the Watson stuff. Yeah. That's assuming the 6 game holds.
So you're drafting, and we saw that scenario play out where Hunt was injured last year, and they just used Dearness Johnson and Hunt's role. So I don't think there's a scenario in which Chubb just gets like a huge opportunity share, even if Hunt were to be traded.
Where do you have Chubb ranked amongst running backs right now, Ron?
I don't know amongst running backs. Let me see. I think off the top of my head, I want to say I have him behind like Fournette, behind Connor, behind I think I have him behind Brees and Etienne as well, like right around like the RB like 16 in that area.
Okay, I have him at 17. Like I have Aaron Jones, Cam Akers, Travis Etienne, James Conner immediately ahead of him.
I have him at 20.
Wow. Yeah, I have him 16.
Yeah. It's just okay. This is all obviously pending health, but if Watson gets a suspension, which I'm already baking into that ranking, and J.K. Dobbins is healthy to start the year, I would take J.K. Dobbins over Nick Chubb.
If J.K. Dobbins, if you knew he was going to play week 1,
it's the same bet and a better offense.
Yeah, I also think Josh Jacobs versus Nick Chubb is the exact same bet too. It's a guy that's like a committee running back who's like a good player, doesn't get a full workload, and Jacobs has higher touchdown upside and a way better offense. So as much as Chubb is the better running back, that kind of gets counteracted by the fact Jacobs is going to get way more red zone work.
I would lean Chubb in both those scenarios. Even as someone that doesn't love Chubb, I guess for me it's just that like you guys would honestly know more, a little bit more hand in the dirt guys, but like he's amazing.
He's a superstar. He's an absolute superstar.
He's like arguably the best running back in the league. Yeah.
And I get that, like, obviously we're not drafting for talent, but and we talked about it earlier. I know that the Kareem Hunt thing, like if Dearness Johnson comes in, it might not be the same type of split, but it would be tough for me to push him down to like behind Dobbins, behind Jacobs, just because those guys, I guess on the high end, I don't see a clear path for them to smash. I know Chubb hasn't smashed yet, but you're assuming, he's very talented. Maybe he has like a Derrick Henry type trajectory. Maybe we see it on the back end, but I
would be in on him, honestly, if Watson was playing all 17 games this year, because then there is a scenario in which Chubb smashes where he can get a lot of
and the
touchdowns.
Volume. Yeah. We need him to get like 20 touchdowns.
Worth, I do have him ahead of Jacobs and Dobbins, but they're right behind him for me. And if Dobbins plays during preseason games and looks healthy, I will move him ahead of Chubb.
Yeah. And at cost, of course, I would take those guys over.
Right,
as well.
right. Those are like 5th, 6th round picks on Underdog versus like a 3rd round pick.
And I just want to address, because I see Corey say that. To answer your question, Corey, unless you have to roster a defense or a kicker at this point, I would just drop your defense and kicker and hold as many handcuff running backs as possible. Because as we know, throughout training camp, injuries are going to happen. Like you mentioned, or I kind of mentioned, the guys like Sony Michel were on your block. Daryl Henderson was on your block, Naheem Hines. Daryl Henderson specifically, especially with the health of Cam Akers, he has to be on your roster because, again, if any negative, report happens throughout the offseason, Henderson could be a 4th-round pick if Akers misses any time. Like if Akers is slated to miss like a good chunk of the season or is slow recovering from his Achilles, Henderson's a player that's going to be steamed up dramatically throughout the offseason. So again, if you don't have to roster a kicker or a defense, hold those type of running backs and maybe flip before the season starts or just use them in the season. You're just going to get free value pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's close out these questions here and then we'll hop out of here. A lot of people asking about DeAndre Hawkins. Should I keep him one more year? Is this the year to sell him? So Fantasy Football Atomic was basically asking like, do we walk away from certain wide receivers at a certain age? There's no like data to support like at 30 years old, wide receivers drop off, or after, this many targets or receptions, wide receivers drop off. It's more like a case by case basis. And the one resource that I rely on most for that is reception perception. When Matt Harmon tells me that, a couple of years ago, he was like, AJ Green has fallen off, or, Des Bryant has fallen off, or Julio Jones has fallen off. At that point, I'm probably going to sell them then, rather than, trying to predict a fall off at wide receiver, because there is no real way to say like they're going to fall off based on these like touches or anything.
And there's certain scenarios, again, if you're a contender and you're a top 3 team and you want to ride that production, by all means, but if you're not in that position, point blank, another easy way to do it is if an older player is coming off a huge season and from a market value standpoint that they are a depreciating asset, that is the best time to cash out. Like, for example, if you can transition right now, in some leagues, you might be able to get A.J. Brown straight up for Cooper Kupp. And that's not even a question for me. If you are not a top contender and don't need that, 5 max point per game output difference between Kupp and a guy like A.J. Brown this year, if you're solely looking at, what can appreciate in value, what can hold value the longest, just make that transition. So guys like, as I mentioned, Cooper Kupp, older running backs coming off of pinnacle years. Again, that's going to be harder to get market value for because they're running backs. But if you can, get a first straight up right now for Dalvin Cook, an archetype like that, take it and run to the bank. Unless, again, of course, you want to ride production, you want to try to win now. But if you are not in that position, point blank, I know I'm going to sound like an ageist, but sell all of your aging, peaked out assets, because point blank, you're not going to be able to get that type of return on them in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, a year time.
Yeah, and specifically on Hopkins, I would wait until he's back off suspension before you sell him, but I'm totally cool selling Hopkins once he's back on the field if you don't need that production to win this time of year. One last question, then we'll hop off of here. Do I try and draft either Burrow or Hurts earlier in the draft, or kick a QB a little later down and take a Carr, Stafford, or Kirk? So I broke this down like in depth, my quarterback strategy in the League Winning Quarterbacks video. I love that tier of quarterback: Burrow, Hurts, Lamar, Kyler Murray. But I also like the tier of quarterback if you miss out on those guys: Stafford, Carr, Kirk Cousins, those type of dudes, and then maybe pair them with like Justin Fields or Zach Wilson for some more like upside or whatever. So I like either of those strategies. It all depends on where those like higher end quarterbacks fall. Because if they go in like the 4th round, I'm cool just passing on them and waiting for a later quarterback. But if they're falling to round 5, round 6, then I'm cool getting the high end production.
Yep. No,
I was going to ask, I know you guys are both high on Hurts. Like in your like standard, very traditional redraft league, do you have a spot where I've been having, like, in terms of like getting Hurts, it's like, man, like you see like Kyler go, you see Lamar go, and then it's like the same round, and it's like, man, like, am I going to take Jalen Hurts the same round as those guys? I ran into it last night, and I lost sleep over it, dude. I got sniped on Jalen Hurts, passed on him in the 2nd round. Or the 7th round. He comes back around in the 8th, and the pick right before me goes Jalen Hurts, and it's just like, man, I think I wish I took Hurts beforehand.
Yeah, I was gonna say, should have taken. Anytime he falls past the 6th round, he's an auto pick.
Like, honestly, I think he's an auto pick in the 5th round. To be honest, like, I would rather have Jalen Hurts than I have him higher than Nick Chubb in my rankings.
Yeah.
Like,
I do too. I mean, if we look at
even
the board,
like the wide receiver position, like I have him higher than Judy. I have him higher than Bateman. I have him higher than Cooks and Sutton and those type of guys. Once like Mike Williams, Marquise Brown, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Allen Robinson types are off the board at that position, and the next 2 tight ends with Kittle and Waller and Pitts and stuff, I'm cool taking Hurts, Jackson, Kyler, whoever at that price.
Like, I would say. So, by the way, I don't know why Juju's going ahead of Rashad Bateman. Let's just pretend like that's not there, right? Rashad Bateman goes off the board 53.9. After Rashad Bateman's off the board, we get into like Montgomery, Chris Godwin. Obviously, if he's healthy, go way higher. Mooney, Kyler Murray, Amon-Ra, etc. There. Jalen Hurts currently goes in a range of like Amari Cooper, Josh Jacobs, Elijah Mitchell, Adam Thielen, where I'm more fine stomaching taking a quarterback there because I know I'm not missing out on like an elite game-changing smashes ADP type of player. And I mean, if we're doing the comparable there, you kind of mentioned, taking a Hurts, let's say round 6 is ADP 64.3 overall. Taking Hurts round 6 versus getting a guy like Derek Carr in round 12. I like the profiles of running backs in round 12. Obviously, not as much as the profiles of running backs in round 6. But would I rather Hurts and Daryl Henderson or Josh Jacobs and Derek Carr? Like, I would rather the Hurts side because I know that at least I'm getting a league winner, top end type of elite asset at his position. Whereas with the Carr Jacobs situation, I don't think I'm getting access to that.
I ran into it with the wide receiver dead zone I was talking about, where like we were talking about that rookie area where Garrett Wilson's going to fall, Burks is going to fall. Those guys are still falling. So even though in my ranks I have those guys as like a 6th, 7th round pick, I could have just not taken. I think I took Burks in the 7th over Hurts, which hurt me. I could have just taken Hurts, or I could have just taken Hurts and then had Burks fall back to me probably somewhat easily. So it was a mistake. I'm definitely trying to feel out. Like it is hard because he's 6th round in these best ball drafts, but I'll show you guys after. But I have a 10th round Jalen Hurts redraft team on one of those. I'm telling you guys, I know you guys both said you like to keep it to a few, and I honestly respect it. Like I have to say, like the degenerate side of me does ruin it slightly, where I wish I just had like a couple players to root for or whatever. But the rooms are pretty crazy. Like the rooms, you're gonna get boomers in there that are like using, and there's trade-offs. Like the interface on these websites aren't sleeper either. Like they're pretty shitty. But you get some interesting rooms.
So what league are you talking about there?
That was FFWC's Player Profiler Championship.
Jeez, okay.
Jalen Hurts in the 10th round.
That makes no sense.
He's my 45th ranked player.
Yeah,
so I'm 20 picks above ADP on him. And
I have
6th round pick on Underdog.
I started that draft Eckler, Saquon, Mark Andrews.
Oh,
I have Hurts ranked as my 57th ranked player, so
yeah.
I'm still ahead of ADP. But yeah,
anyways, we should probably head off here. We've been on here for an hour and 20 minutes. Appreciate all you guys for joining us. I believe we're hopping onto Ron's channel, do the exact same shit. So if you guys want to hop over, I don't know what the play is, but
we're going to do that probably this weekend or another time. Ron's got to go.
Yeah, that was my bad. I didn't.
Yeah, you're good, brother.
Yeah, I'll get you guys on the channel in a second.
We won't be hopping to do that right now, but we will be on there very soon.
Yeah.
So definitely stay tuned for that. If you guys haven't already checked out Ron's content, don't know why you wouldn't. I think based on like our YouTube analytics, we are like the most in common channels. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. So you probably listen to him already, but if you don't, check him out. Ron Stewart on Twitter. His shit was on the screen, but I'll put it on the screen now. And also check out his channel as well.
Yeah, facts. Like it literally like so similar. If you guys watch us, you're gonna fit like a glove over there.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's always a blast. I'm on Fantasy Stock Exchange channel. I will say I got a comment the other day, dude, that some guy was in my comments. He's like, bro, like who do you think you are? You're not even a top 10 fantasy football like channel on YouTube. And I'm like, bro, like there's rankings. Like what what are you talking about? Bro, like who are the 10 guys who are like there's not even 10 like channels I can name. Like
dude, it's funny because like again, I don't want to harp on bigger channels, but there's some like big channels out there that I know for a fact we can both our channels take on pretty squarely.
Yeah.
100%.
You're not even a YT1 according to that guy. YouTube
Dude,
channel 1. You're the equivalent of a wide receiver 2.
Dude, it's bad, bro.
Don't be an RB2.
Bro.
As long as you're a wide receiver 2 and another RB2, at least you're helping us win. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're heading off here. Peace out, guys. Talk to you soon.
See ya.